Kommen wir zum ersten Gründer von NLP, Richard Wayne Bandler, geboren im Februar 1950 in New Jersey. Bandler studierte Mathematik, Informatik, Philosophie und Psychologie in Kalifornien, schloss diese mit einem Master in Psychologie in San Francisco ab. Richard Bandler ist eine sehr umstrittene Persönlichkeit. Zu seinem Studienabschluss ist sogar umstritten, ob er einen Doktor hat oder ob er sich fälschlicherweise damit schmückt. Auf seiner Website wird von ihm als Dr. Bandler gesprochen. Es gibt eigentlich viele Stimmen, die behaupten, dass er niemals eine offizielle Dissertation abgeschlossen habe. Ich habe nachgeforscht, ich habe seine Doktorarbeit selbst nicht gefunden. Ich kann weder die eine noch die andere Aussage verifizieren. Außerdem war er in einen Mordfall verwickelt. Er hat nach einer persönlichen Krise sehr stark angefangen zu trinken, Kokain zu konsumieren und ist dann, nachdem die Ehefrau seines Drogendealers ermordet wurde, sogar vor Gericht gezogen worden, weil man ihn verdächtigt hat, diesen Mord begangen zu haben. Im Endeffekt ist er freigesprochen worden und der Dealer, Herr Marino, wurde für den Mord verurteilt. Ich als Jurist gehe natürlich von seiner Unschuld aus, durch den Freispruch. Aber ohne Frage ein einflussreiches Genie des 20. Jahrhunderts. Er hat neben NLP noch eine weitere Reihe von Techniken entwickelt, zahlreiche Bücher zum Thema Persönlichkeitsentwicklung geschrieben. Die Zusammenarbeit zwischen Bandler und Grinder ging bis zum Jahr 1980. Danach zerstritten sich die beiden und stritten sich über 10 Jahre um die Rechte, wer jetzt der Begründer von NLP sei. Im Ergebnis gab es einen gerichtlichen Vergleich und beide gelten als Co-Founder oder als Mitbegründer von NLP. Hier sind 2 Videos von und über Richard Bandler. Das erste ist ein Interview über die Frage, wie sind Sie zu dem Namen NLP gekommen? Das ist eine sehr witzige Geschichte. Und das zweite ist ein Promo-Video von seiner eigenen Website. Einfach auch, dass Sie mal sehen, wie da die Selbstdarstellung ist. Viel Spaß dabei.
When you modelled Milton, it was you and John Grinder. Tell me, because from what I gather, it's you were just curious. Obviously, you did all this research and you came up with your own, system where you thought, look, there's more to it. How did you come across? How did the word neurolinguistic programming? How did that happen?
Well, actually, that was just because I got pulled over by a highway patrolman. And I had a whole lot of books on the floor of my car. And he looked at me and said, "What do you do for a living?" And I took the beginning of 3 different books. One was a neurology book, one was John Grinder's linguistic book, and the other was a programming manual for a PDP 1134A. And I went, "I'm a neuro-linguistic programmer." And when I looked back at him, he was totally impressed. He went, "God, that sounds really sophisticated." And I looked at him and I went, yeah. And I got out of a ticket. There were officially 160 schools of psychotherapy. I tried everything to find out what would help people, and most of them were not directive enough. The thing I liked about Milton is if you came in and if a patient had a problem, he went after that relentlessly. Virginia was the same way. If somebody was depressed, Virginia relentlessly, she'd work sometimes with somebody 16 hours straight until they would get to the other side of it and start to have a better outlook on life. Most people had somebody come in for 40 minutes and they would go another 40 minutes a week. Sometimes psychoanalysts, an hour a day, 4 days a week, having them free associate and sitting on the end of the couch so they didn't influence them, which worked extremely well, by the way. And to me, I wanted to be able to put something, press button A and B happens. And otherwise, it's just not fun for me. And when I met Milton, what I liked is he had people come in and he did things which got results. Now, the results that he was after are not necessarily the ones I would go after. I mean, he was very clear with me, and although understanding Milton, he's not really direct about anything. But when I asked him what did he try to do with the patients that were hospitalized, and he held up his hand, he said 5 things. He said, I want them out of the hospital, I want them to have a job, I want them to get married, I want them to have children, and I want them to send me something that tells me they're okay. He said, I prefer that it's a present. And I took that as a hypnotic command. I knew he wanted me to get married because I wasn't married at the time, and send him presents. That was everybody that got his presents.
You're about to watch one of the most influential thinkers of the 21st century, the man who virtually founded the personal development and self-help industry, and in the process, transformed our understanding of the human mind. His name is Richard Bandler. As the co-creator of Neurolinguistic Programming, or NLP, he's improved the lives of millions across the world through his seminars and self-help products. His works have been translated into over 20 languages, and his books, CDs, and DVDs regularly top the self-help charts.
NLP is about getting the best procedure from the people who have succeeded the best at any task and teaching other people to do it. It's about having lessons that tell you how to design the inside of your head just like you would design the inside of a room.
Dr. Bandler personally trained to NLP Master Trainer level the internationally acclaimed lifestyle guru Paul McKenna. And motivational powerhouse Anthony Robbins freely acknowledges that NLP has influenced his own work.
I think the tools I've created are evolutionary in nature. We've never had a way to think about how we think. And being trained primarily as a physicist taught me to think in terms of how things work in systems. I used to design compiler systems, and that technology of teaching machines to do what humans did got me the idea that we could teach humans to do what other humans did by looking at the process, not the content.
Thanks to Dr. Bandler's mind training techniques, therapists, athletes, business people, writers, artists, musicians, teachers, entrepreneurs, negotiators, politicians, and countless others have become more successful and more effective at what they do. NLP has even inspired and been featured in TV hit series. Through NLP, millions have become assured and more self-confident, fostering a positive outlook on life that's freed them to achieve their goals and fulfill their ambitions. And because Richard Bandler teaches others the art and science of excellence, celebrities who excel at what they do are happy to work alongside him.
What I do is I teach people to think differently. You think differently, you feel differently, therefore what you can do expands.
Whether you want to become a master in communication, reach the pinnacle in your powers of persuasion with techniques that will leave everyone winners, or simply overcome a phobia and gain more confidence, watch now and understand how you can change your life forever with Richard Bandler and NLP.